Play surges forward. Possibility!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Retro Football. I am joined by the awesome Dave from YouTube channel Dave's Game Room. How are you doing on this wonderful Sunday, my friend?
It is a really, really lovely day outside. I think I'm going to take a walk once we've done this video. But yeah, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Same, just enjoying the weather, been out in the garden with my wife and son, and just been enjoying the rays of sunshine. And I'm sure you guys will agree, me and Dave are a ray of sunshine in your lives.
We try
when you
to
watch
be.
these when you watch these videos. Today we are going to be talking about ISS 98 on the Nintendo 64. This is footage I captured this morning. Dave, start us off with this game. What do you think of it?
So ISS 60, I almost said ISS 64 then.
Yeah.
That was the predecessor to this one, if you're
Sure,
talking N64. Yeah. I like this game. This one was Konami's sort of answer to World Cup 98. That was why they released it. So full international teams, no club teams. And I quite liked it. It's a different game compared to the ISS Pro 98 we got on PlayStation. That's one thing I need to get in there straight away, because there'll be people that would have played the PlayStation version or look at this and think, yeah, this is different. I enjoyed it. Back in the good old days, I liked ISS 98 on the N64 as well as the PS1.
So did I. Did you play a lot of its predecessor?
ISS 64, I did, yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
I did play a fair amount of it.
Both are very good games. Now, this footage, guys, I've captured a few different highlights from different matches I spent time with this morning. It's the first time I've gone back to it in many, many years. Now, I want to get this out of the way before I touch on what's good about the game. The C buttons, and this isn't a fault. This isn't a fault of Konami here. This isn't their fault. This is not a game developer issue. They've had to work with the tools they've got, and obviously the Nintendo 64 had the yellow C buttons.
Yep.
I found it really difficult to play because I'm using RetroArch, guys, and I'm using an Xbox controller, and for me, the C buttons are mapped to your right stick, and it's just really cumbersome.
Yeah, it's the same when you play it on a real N64 pad, because the A and B buttons are a standard size, but those C buttons that you have to use, they're dreadful. They're tiny little yellow buttons, and I'm sorry to anybody that's a fan of the C buttons or, the C stick that we got with the GameCube. I thought it was a dreadful design decision.
Yeah, it was. We've talked about it in other videos. We won't harp on about it and annoy you guys, but me and Dave aren't big fans of the Nintendo 64 controller. So if you notice in this footage, guys, of all these various games, I don't score a goal. Now, I managed to score one goal out of all my games this morning. I didn't put it up to a hard difficulty or anything like that. I played all the default settings. It just took me so long getting used to, because to cross the ball is mapped to the right stick, essentially, which would have been the C button. So I struggled for a while getting used to the controls. So when I did start scoring goals, I'd already captured footage. So I'm not that bad at the game. Now onto the good stuff. The AI in this. Wow, to this day, this game is old now. This is an old football game.
Yeah.
The AI, the teams, this is why I've captured different matches. The teams all play so differently.
They do, yeah, and you can really, really tell that Konami at this point in time had a grasp on this team with this sort of abilities against this team that's a superior team, and how the matches should sort of work. Because if you play against a weaker team, and I'm not going to mention any names because we don't want to offend anybody, but it's obvious. You can find ways of getting through them. But if your team isn't particularly good, like I pick England, and I'm going to say that because, I'm from England, our defence wasn't terrific on that particular game, and I struggled to keep teams out when I did play this back in its heyday.
Yeah, that's a really good point about England's defence, actually. I got to touch on the fake names in this. They're really funny. Some of them are really, really funny, but you really do feel the difference between playing as, I played as England, and then there was another match in this footage where I play as Argentina, and you really feel the difference. Now, I rely on through balls a lot when I play football gaming, as I'm sure everyone watching this does, as you do, Dave, but through ball, I'm going back to the C buttons, guys. I'm like a broken record, I'm sorry, I have to moan about this. Through ball, for me, is up on the right stick. So a lot of the time, I'm flicking left by accident on the right stick because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. And when you flick left, that crosses the ball.
Yeah.
So rather than doing a through, you'll see it in the footage. If I do that weird little sort of, it looks like I'm flicking the ball in the air. I'm not doing that on purpose. And there was just so many. It just made me want to play this game, but on a PlayStation. That's what it did.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you did play the PS1 equivalent of this, it's very different. It's not the same game. The mechanics.
Is it? I've never played it.
The mechanics of the game are very different. Did you ever play the original ISS Pro or... Yeah, and then did you play ISS Pro Evolution? Because if you think about how ISS Pro Evolution feels, with a little bit less refinement, then that's ISS Pro 98 on the PS1.
Okay.
It's different.
Okay.
It's quite different. Because on the N64, the dribbling mechanics is very, very different to the PS1 version of ISS. It's very different. Yeah, it is. It takes some getting used to, but I like it on the N64. I was a fan of both versions of the game. I really was.
This is a damn good game.
One thing I love, though,
really good.
Just going to touch on it so I don't lose sight of it. Scenarios. I liked the scenarios. I thought they were awesome. There was a scenario mode on that game.
Yeah, I saw that in the front menus before I start. Now, I've only just played exhibition games for this, for the purpose of this video, but yeah, I saw that and I wondered what that was about because I can't remember that mode back in the day. Even though myself and my brother and all of my mates at the time, we used to spend a lot of time with this game and its predecessor.
Yeah, scenario modes where you'll be thrown into a situation like you're 70 minutes in a match, you're 2-1 down. And the result is you need to win 3-2. Things like that. You need to score 2 goals.
Cool.
I loved that idea. And it's a shame that we don't have that anymore. Because can you imagine some legendary footballing moments, say on a FIFA game or a PES game nowadays, and you've got to play and change the course of history? You know, you're in a game that's for relegation. If you lose, you're relegated. But the scenario is to score 2 goals and win. I love the idea of it.
We did have something similar in recent FIFAs, or recent-ish FIFAs, like FIFA 08 or FIFA 09.
One of them. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had that kind of thing. But yeah, this game, guys, is super playable. Now, what I like about it is it's quite tactical. It's not bogged down in tactics and that dynamic, but it's got that kind of PES, that Pro Evo vibe going through it. It's quite a serious game. It's not... I mean... I was laughing when it showed the replays and it showed David Seaman's face and stuff because he looks hilarious.
Yeah,
but it's very tactical. Like Norway, when I played against them, the CPU had their tactics as them sitting in really deep 2 banks of 4 and leaving their strikers up.
Yeah.
That is how Norway played back in the late 90s. So tactically, I was really impressed. It really holds up. Actually, some games AI today need to take a look at those sort of games around that era, especially ISS 98 on the N64, because it's a very, very interesting game.
It is. It's interesting. It's challenging. I mean, you played it on what would have been the regular difficulty, which I think is level 3. It goes up to level 5. On level 5, it's very, very difficult as well. But you've got to think. Again, we go back to what we've said about other football games, you know, thinking man's football games. This is another example of that, although, of course, it's an older game, so it's not quite as in-depth.
Yeah, you've just reminded me though. There is another bug, but when you said this game is difficult even in regular, there was one more bugbear I've got. Shooting seems to take it seems to wind up. Your striker seems to take an age winding up. By the time I'm ready to let go of shoot, I've been tackled. I was kind of rushing my shots in the end just because I was just worried about getting tackled by the AI.
Yeah, that's one big issue that I had with it back in the day too. There's plenty of times I'd get into a good position, I'm about to press that shot button, I press it and I get tackled and I'm sat there wondering why the shot didn't get released.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I spent a lot more time with it, I'd get better at it and I'd be scoring more goals. But it had that one more game feeling that the old PES games have got. And because it's challenging and you have to think about what you're doing and where you're playing the ball, it just keeps you coming back for more matches. I was really enjoying my time with it.
Yeah. As the same as I loved it when I played it again recently. In fact, me and you did have a quick blast on it over a net play session, and it was brilliant. We were really enjoying it. It was so good.
Yeah. Have you got any faults or flaws or issues with this game?
Just how difficult it is, and at times it's very, very easy to lose the ball, but I'd rather it was more difficult and maybe too difficult than too easy, because some of these football games around this time were too easy. Even on their hardest difficulty, you'd find an exploit. Look at some of the FIFAs. It was too easy to score at this time.
Yeah, and another thing I would say with this game as well, but this might be a tactical thing. I didn't mess around with tactics or systems or formations at all. I kind of just played it for the benefit of this video. But I found that the CPU got in behind my defense one-on-one with my keeper a lot.
Yes, they do a lot of through passes that seem to just work, and then you're in trouble. You're on the back foot straight away. That used to happen to me a heck of a lot.
Yeah, but I'm just panicking because I've got my normal buttons, and then there's these C buttons, which is my right stick. And
I'm sorry to anybody that loves them C buttons. Though, do you know what the C stands for?
Crap.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. Those buttons, Nintendo, just please, why did you do that?
Yeah, it's but yeah, that's ISS 98 on the Nintendo 64. Dave, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me as always.
Mate, I love it. Love having you on there. Just love hearing your voice on the weekend. Guys, check out. Come back to the channel, guys. Come back. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. We've got old school video, which I'll upload tomorrow or Monday. No, tomorrow is Monday. Sun's gone to my head. And we've got more retro football gaming coming to the channel as well. You have an awesome weekend there, guys. I'll speak to you all soon.
Goodbye, European Super League.
Where will he pass the ball next? That's intercepted. What about that pass? This is a chance. He passes it on to the right.